you had said after the UCLA game that was why you played the big games. You guys weren't scared of it, finding that stuff out early. Just how getting the film back, getting in practice. What do you feel like you've learned the most about your team, and the response and just how they've grown from it?
Yeah, I think that was a game where you go back and you watch the tape of were they better than us? Without a doubt. Were they that much better than us? I don't think so. I think we beat ourselves down the stretch. You cut it to 10 with, I think, 8 minutes to go in the fourth, and then we lost it. Now, do I think we would have won the game? No. Do I think it needed to be a 22-point blowout on the road? No. I think we could have had it be an 8 to 12-point game, and we watched the film and we watched those points. It was really turnover heavy, and they were turnovers that were in really bad times, and they scored off of all of them. And so just watching that, learning from that, I think our turnovers were better in the next game. Our defense was better in the next game. So a pretty quick response and turnaround on the road, which was a pretty big trip for our freshmen. It's a hard trip for anyone when you're gone across the country in a different time zone for a week. So for them to be able to respond, second game still wasn't pretty, but I do think it was better than the first.
Obviously, you want to win every game, but you feel like it was particularly important to win that Stanford game.
Yeah.
Leave with a win after against UCLA.
Yeah, and you want the quality of a trip home to be better. You have a long week of practice. You want it to be better, and it's ideally, it worked out in a great way as a coach. If it was a close game, it was still an ugly game. We have a lot we could learn from it, but we came away with the win.
What have you seen in practice this week that you've liked in terms of just their energy, their attitude towards, this break?
Yeah, we practice hard, and I think that I'm very hopeful that our transition offense starts to look better, that our shots start to go in, that we're playing with a little more pop, a little more juice on both ends.
You mentioned that.
Sorry, let me go. What do you like about the mental toughness that you've been seeing from the team, maybe even heading into practice?
I think a lot of individual players have gotten better. I've seen our skill set improve. Naya's continuing to improve. Jada, Alyssa, Denia, Mia, our freshmen, they are all taking a step in this week. Coop has looked better. Z has looked better. And so when you see that and you see the majority of your team individually get a little bit better, then that obviously makes practices more enjoyable to come to. And again, anytime you have a long stretch, school's now out, it can be kind of long days for them, but I think that they've done pretty well on the hard days.
You mentioned after that Stanford game that this isn't a great third quarter team. What do you see that changes in them in that third quarter, and anything that you can do in practice that kind of helps to have a better, urgency out of the break?
Yeah, I think consistency is something that we are still struggling with, of stacking days, putting days together, or being consistent throughout an entire practice. Our last practice, for example, I was standing there, I'm like, wow, this has been great. We've had a really good practice, and then we lose it. So just keeping the pace, keeping the tempo, keeping the sense of urgency for an entire practice and an entire game.
And what haven't you liked about the third quarter specifically?
I don't know how many third quarters we have won. And I think we do a good job of addressing what we need to at halftime and then getting back out. But even when we take the floor at halftime, making sure that we are efficient in what we do, we are efficient in getting warmed back up and then locked back in.
You mentioned how important a game like UCLA, that big time game, to get freshmen a lot of minutes and get them that exposure because you need them in January and February. Just have you seen that start to pay off even already? How do you feel like they will grow from that experience?
Yeah, I think when you go and you play in that environment on the road, then when you go to South Carolina, it's not so daunting. When you go to LSU, when you go to Texas, when you go to these tough environments in physical games with large crowds, it's not so, wow, this is the first time I've ever seen that. And that's really what we're trying to give them.
Mia seemed maybe most comfortable so far against Stanford. What do you think clicked for her going into that game?
Yeah, she's been really good. Her turnover numbers have been great. And she was hitting shots. She was playing with confidence. She's been really good in practice ever since. So hopefully that was a good momentum builder for her.
I know you're anticipating the 3-point percentage to get better. But I'm just kind of curious how you approach that as a coach when you knew kind of going into the season you wanted to be more of a driving team and get to the free throw line, and you guys percentages still kind of hovering around 20%, taking 33 per game. Just do you ever, I don't know, do you put a limit on it? Do you talk about it? I know you talk about shot selection, but how do you approach that knowing you kind of want to shift it a little bit?
Yeah, that's really hard because I do think it's getting better. It's not translating on paper. And then the game that it did translate on paper, the game we had our best shooting percentage, we lost by 22. So that's really tough to look at as a coach. And then you watch other games and you watch some of our games and our shots are open. And yes, maybe they're open because it's on the scout, not to guard them, but we're taking shots that in our offense are open. And so just continuing to learn with the pace and the flow and the shot clock. We do want to get downhill more. We have been very transition heavy when we should be getting more layups. We should be getting more layups at the rim. We should have more advantage situations because we are pressing, we have those. So we need to be putting our head down and getting to the rim or putting our head down and getting a dump down pass. That's non-existent in our offense right now. And I think once you do that and then you see the ball go in, everyone plays a little more lax. Our Stanford shooting percentage was really bad. UCLA was really good. We just have to continue to be consistent.
Is there a formula to get that 3-point percentage to translate on paper, or do you just kind of have to go with the flow of the team?
You have to go with the flow of the team. I mean, Naya is a really good example where she was shooting about 20-some%, and then she makes 10 threes in a game. So sometimes they have to see it click. Sometimes they have to have their confidence built. Sometimes it just takes time to shooting the ball quickly. Sometimes it takes time knowing, hey, I'm not shooting the ball very well right now, or I am tired, or this person that's standing next to me who was wide open just hit 2, and learning the flow of that. And I think that they are getting that. When we watch film, they can articulate that to me.
What would you say is maybe a top priority for this team? Obviously, another ranked game coming up here soon. How would you like to finish out the month of December?
Yeah, we don't want to lose. We talked about that. We want to go undefeated in December. That's easier said than done, but we need to stack some wins together going into SEC play. And the biggest thing for me is transition offense, is getting some easier ones, getting some layups, not just shooting threes when we have one-on-one layups, and just because it's one-on-one and it's a harder shot, we still have the skill set to take it, and we do have the skill set to take it. And right now, I do think we have some moments where we're still settling.
Have you liked having this long of a break, 10 days in between games, or would you rather go game at this point in the season?
I think we needed it. I think the last time we had a break, we looked better when we went to Middle Tennessee, so I think we have needed it. So I like it, they hate it.
Where is your concern level with the free throw shooting? I know it's been kind of up and down, but there's only been 3 games you shot as a team over 70%. Like, what do you attribute to that?
Fatigue. I think that when we are hitting shots and we are playing well, then they're going in, and when the ball's not going in the hole, the ball's not going in the hole, and that's kind of been the pace. And that has to be with something with the way we are, the pace of play and slowing down to shoot your foul shots, and it's not something that we ignore. It's not something that we don't work on. It's just, hey, you're here, you've put the reps in, have the confidence to hit it.
Are you wanting the guards to get themselves to the free throw lines more? A lot of them have been, Janiyah and Z obviously, get to the rim. Are you wanting to get more of your guards to the line?
Yeah, I do. I want Jada to get to the line more. I want Mia to get to the line more. I think she can. Coop does a pretty good job, but I think she should be number 1. I haven't looked at her stats to see who's getting the most, but Coop should be getting there the most.
How would you maybe evaluate the team when it comes to like the assist numbers? Do you like the way that they're sharing the ball and how that leads to either getting those layups? Or
Yeah, it's hard. I think that we are sharing the ball better. I don't think the ball's going in. So we have a lot of film where we say, hey, this was the right pass, and then we airball it. Hey, this was the right play, and then we airball it. And so we have those. I do think they are sharing the ball much better than we were early in the year. I think they're not necessarily translating to assists because the shots aren't going in. We want that number to be around 16. I don't know what we're at now. I think last time I checked it was 13, maybe 12, 13. We want them to go up, and then again, when you start hitting shots, a lot of it takes care of itself, and I think we're close.
At this point in the week, what stands out about Winthrop?
Yeah, they are off to the best start that they've ever been. I think we need to focus on us. We have one more day where we focus on us, and then we'll get into our scout. And that's been the really nice part about the break is we've had a lot of time of, we're going to look at this, we're going to look at this, we're going to add this, giving people some encouragement and building them up. And then the next 2 days will be pretty scout heavy, and then that's kind of the routine we'll be in of 2 days prep, day off, 2 days prep, and then we're in the thick of it.
When you got to really break down the film from the last 2 games, was there anything like a positive trend that you saw or something that you really liked that kind of carried over or you felt like it was building?
Yeah, I think sharing the ball has been better. I think we have been doing specific breakdown drills that you can see on the floor of, hey, we drive it, we kick it, we won more. We drive it, we kick it, we swing the ball all the way around. Multiple people have touched the ball. We had some really good at the end of that Stanford game drives and then cut to the backside block. And we've worked on that. And we're going to continue to get gapped and double team until we all start hitting. So we did a really good job of noticing that our man went to double the ball handler and then we cut. And so there are things that are translating, going the right direction.
Is there anything that you've seen from Talasia so far this year that's new or different that impresses you that you didn't quite see from her last year?
I think she's passing the ball a lot better than she did last year. She's really being a willing passer, sometimes almost too much. Sometimes I want to say, hey, you need to put your head down in this scenario and go score. And she is really when she has the ball in her hand, she's pass first a lot of times, and I didn't see that out of her a lot last year. Again, I'd like her to put her head down and go a little bit more, but I think that has been an improvement for her. She's being more vocal. I think she's taken a step in the right direction, and she's put some really good days together that hopefully we'll see a new and improved version of her after this break.
There were sometimes that when the press gets broken, it just leads to a really easy bucket, or there's a 2-1-1 situation. Is that due more to pressure up top or rotations in the back?
Rotations in the back. So that's something our pressure up top, you can't go if you don't have pressure, but our back has been missing or stuck in between, and we need to go all the way. And again, if they score, they got to score quick. It's got to be a contested pull-up and then go the other way. But our back rotation has done a better job in the break of rotating up. We've looked at a couple different options in our press, but top has been doing what they need to do. It just needs to be 5 people playing together. Thank you all.